Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, so there is a ton of hype and honestly a lot of fear around this new thing called Devin. It claims to be the world's first AI software engineer. Today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to follow a hands-on test to see if Devin can actually do the job. Let's get into it.
I mean, this is the question, right? It's on everyone's mind in tech. Can a machine really, truly replace a developer? We've all been hearing these promises for years, but now there's a tool that claims the future is finally here. So, is this it? Is this the moment everything actually changes?
So, what exactly is Devin? Well, its creator, a company called Cognition, is pitching it as a fully autonomous agent. The idea is you give it one task, just a single prompt, and it's supposed to handle everything else. Writing the code, building it, and shipping the final product. The hype has been just massive, but it's finally getting into people's hands. All right, so let's start with the promise. What is Devin supposed to do? Because we need to be clear, this isn't just another one of those code completion tools. The claim here is way, way bigger. This is the pitch, literally right from their website. The whole idea is that Devin can act like a member of your team. It can just autonomously grab tasks and create GitHub pull requests for a human to look over. It's an absolutely incredible promise. Let's see if it holds up. Okay, enough with the promises and the marketing. It's time to get hands-on. We're going to follow a real-world test, starting from the very beginning, the setup, all the way to a final working application. What's really interesting about this first part is how people describe it. It's not some simple one-click install. Nope. The whole process feels a lot like you're onboarding a new junior developer on their first day. You actually have to walk it through the setup. First, you connect your GitHub. Then you have to authorize the exact code repositories it's allowed to work on. Then you tell it what dependencies it needs to install, in this case, PHP, and you even have to show it the command to run the application. You're basically teaching it the workflow, just like you would with a new human on your team. And this right here is a really key difference from other AI coding tools you might have seen. Devin doesn't actually run on your computer. It works in its own little sandboxed environment, a totally separate virtual machine with its own terminal and its own web browser. That means it can go wild, install stuff, run code, and experiment without ever messing with your local files. Okay, so setup's done. Now it's time for the real test. Can Devin take one simple instruction and just build an entire app from nothing? The task couldn't be more straightforward. Build a to-do app using PHP. That's it. And the repository it's starting with, it's basically empty, just a single README file inside. So Devin has to figure out everything from scratch, installing PHP, creating all the files, writing all the code, and getting a server up and running. And unbelievably, it works. The first version is functional, yeah, but it's pretty basic, kind of ugly. But then comes the really amazing human part. The user gives it totally subjective feedback, not a bug report, not a specific instruction, but just, the UI doesn't look good. You can do better. And Devin actually goes back to work, completely redesigns the app, adds better styling, and even throws in new features like task counter. This reaction from the reviewer who tested it really says it all. The AI didn't just, tweak a few colors. It understood the intent behind the phrase, do better, and delivered a way, way better product. This ability to iterate on qualitative, kind of vague feedback, that's a huge leap forward. So building the app is impressive, for sure, but this next part, this is what Devin's entire reason for being is built on. Autonomously shipping its own work, ready for a human to review. This is the magic moment. This is where the experience shifts from just using a tool to, collaborating with a teammate. When the AI takes the initiative to package everything up and submit its work on its own, it really feels like a task was just done, delegated and completed by someone else. So what's really important is how it does this. It's not magic. Devin is following the exact steps a human software engineer would. It creates a new feature branch, it stages the files for a commit, it writes its own descriptive commit message, it pushes that branch up to GitHub, and then it uses the command line to officially create the pull request. And then boom, there it is. The pull request just appears in the project's repository.
All the code, created entirely by Devin, is now neatly packaged and waiting for a human developer to come in, review it, maybe leave some comments, and then merge it into the main code base. This is the exact workflow they promised, and it delivered.
So, after seeing it in action, what's the verdict? Is Devin a tool you use, or is it actually a teammate you work with? Let's break down the final analysis. First off, it's really important to get how Devin is different from the tools we already have. Assistants like GitHub Copilot or Cursor, they work inside your computer, helping you write code line by line. Devin works outside your computer, on its own machine, and it takes on an entire task from start to finish. It's a major shift from being an assistant to being an agent. So what's the bottom line? Let's be real. Devin is an amazing, incredibly powerful tool. It can absolutely solve real-world problems. But, and this is probably the most important part, it is not a replacement for a human. It still needs a person to guide it, and most critically, it requires an expert to rigorously review its work. You know, this might be the single most powerful argument against that total replacement fear. Think about it. If an AI could really build and run a whole company on its own, its creators would be using it to do exactly that right now. The simple fact is they can't. Building software is so much more than just writing code. It requires strategy and context and intervention that, for now, is still uniquely human. So the real takeaway here is this. AI isn't here to replace developers. It's here to give them leverage. The developers who are going to win in the next few years won't be the ones who are scared of AI, but the ones who master it. It's a tool that can make you way more powerful, not make you obsolete. And that leaves us with the question we really should be asking. It's no longer about if AI is going to change software development. It already is. The real question is, how are we, the humans who guide these powerful new tools, going to use them to build things we never could have before? That's the future we should all be focused on. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.